And now, the time fight fans all across the globe have been waiting for. It's the MTMV main card with your man, The Voice. As always, in the opposite corner, my mano y mano, my verbal sparring partner. None other than, even though he didn't want me to call him his real nicknames, Willdris Ruffin.
Listen, big dog. I'm not taking it from you this week. If y'all saw what I put on my Instagram stories and preparing for the show, y'all already know that The Voice is out of pocket and he on one. Y'all hear him playing the music extra loud like he Radio Raheem today. You know what I'm saying?
It's at the same level it was last week.
I'm not taking it this week, so I'm just gonna give you your lead in because I want the smoke. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm here with the man, the myth, the legend, the man with the constant shiny halo on his head, The Voice. Voice, I don't even want to ask you how you feeling, sir, because I already know. You on one today. You know what I mean? You on one.
Yeah,
you just came back from...
You talking about a shiny halo. It's better than a loser's hat.
I think you're just mad because your big head can't fit in this hat, but that's fine. So you just came back from doing the Lord's work, and now you out here doing the other work. We got some amazing things to get into today. So let's go ahead and get into the first thing now. Boys, I don't know if you got a chance to see it today. On First Take, your man DC listed his top fighters of all sports. Now, he got ridiculed on Twitter, so I'm excited to hear what your thoughts on this are. So let me give you his top 5 fighters from 5 to 1. Now, this is of all sports. This is MMA, boxing, anything combat. Number 5 is Amanda Nunes. Number 4, George St. Pierre. Number 3, Muhammad Ali. Number 2, Khabib. And number 1, Floyd Mayweather. Okay. Boys, I see the look on your face. What are your thoughts on DC's top 5 fighters of all time?
I believe it's DC's top 5 fighters of all time. Everyone can have their own top 5, and you can have in your top 5 whoever you want to have. DC's boy, his brother, is Khabib Nurmagomedov, which is the reason why he's at number 2 over Muhammad Ali. Khabib will tell you he's not better than Muhammad Ali. And then the Floyd thing, I mean, Floyd is the best of his era, and we're going to talk about Floyd later on in the show. But no, Floyd would say he's better than Ali. And he definitely would say he's better than Khabib. Although, if you put Khabib and Floyd in a cage, it's not going to be nice. You put Khabib and Floyd in a boxing ring with boxing gloves only, no takedowns, no takedowns, then it's not going to be nice the other way either. So, I mean, it's DC's list, and that's what I think. It's DC's list.
Okay, but what do you think about the omissions of, say, John Jones? Which I know the reason. I know the reason why. But that was just a glaring omission. I was just like, come on, bro. Like, you're a media personality now. You got to be unbiased.
Well, you know, he's said a lot of very complimentary things about John Jones. However, with his list, I can't fault him for leaving John out. Who's John gonna go above in that list?
First of all,
thank you.
Ali at number 3, I can't see.
Let's take the numbering out. Who is going to be replaced on that list by John Jones?
Can you really place? Well, I mean, it's got to be 4 or 5. It's got to be Nunes, or it's got to be St. Pierre.
Okay, Amanda Nunes is arguably the greatest woman to ever enter the arena of combat, and she has not had the performance enhancement controversy that John Jones is saying.
Okay.
So again, I ask, who are you going to replace in that top 5 with John Jones? I can see you doing Amanda, but I think when you really look at the grand scheme of things, he's got a solid list. I would take the number and out, but he's got a solid list.
He had a great argument for her being, multiple champion and how she kind of climbed the ranks. So he actually defended that on a couple different shows also. But I figured it would be some spicy takes because he got destroyed for this list on Twitter. So it is what it is. It always depends on what you feel. I'm always gonna be impartial to Joe Frazier and Sugar Ray Leonard. That's just me. You know what I'm saying? Joe Frazier was a friend of my grandfather's, and it's Philly all day. I don't care what happens. You know what I'm saying? I know some crackheads that can fight better than a lot of these fighters in the UFC and in the boxing ring. But that's that.
Hey, cocaine is is a drug, as Rick James said.
There we
it's
go.
Some kind of drug.
There we go. Now moving on to low blows. Now there's been a lot of talk lately about some of the top fighters in boxing kind of padding their stats, and it seems that they are being considered to be padding their stats in what many are calling pit bulls versus bait dog fights. So the question I want to ask you, they use a couple of different examples. I don't want to say any names in particular, but does boxing have an issue with creating too many mismatched fights to pad boxing stats in comparison to maybe just making the best fights available for the viewers and for the fighters themselves?
Yes. I mean, this is the problem with boxing, is that the best don't fight the best. So, I mean, that goes without saying. We would not have been having all this fighting online. I mean, you got Terrence Crawford, who never says anything, doing all kind of fighting online with Errol Spence. And I read today he's still looking to make the fight after his fight on Black Prime. I'm not going to try to say old boy's name. We're going to wait a little minute until we have to try to say it before I start saying it. But David A. Yeah. Not Stephen A., but David A. Anyway, that's the problem, is that the best don't fight the best. Now, whose fault is that? As a promoter, you can make whatever bouts you want to make. As a camp, you can accept whatever fights you want to accept. Managers and fighters, all that stuff is subject. Who I blame are two entities. The ones who are supposed to be keeping things on the level: the sanctioning bodies and the commissions, because there are so many of these fights that just should not be made. Now, salute to WBC. They made some fights mandatory today. You got who is it? Deontay Wilder. His mandatory, he's got to fight Ruiz. Great. That should have happened a long time ago. You got Cool Boy Steph fighting somebody. You got Fundora. Who's Fundora fighting? It was a good matchup too, but Fundora's got to get it in with somebody who's worth getting it in with. The only one that I had an issue with on that list was Spence and Thurman. I mean, Thurman is washed up. He got beat by a washed Pacquiao. Just because he got a victory in his last fight doesn't mean he should be fighting for the title. That shouldn't be happening. I know that Oscar De La Hoya was campaigning for one of his fighters, and I think that would have been a much more evenly matched fight. But again, I put it on these commissions for sanctioning the fights, and the sanctioning bodies for also sanctioning the fights. People speak about the fight last week or recently where Yabusha Newley, another name that we were trying to stay away from, was like, yeah, we'll say it if we got to say it. Well, we have to say it because unfortunately he took a savage beating, and after having brain surgery at the beginning of the week, he's in critical condition. So we got to talk about things like that. His fight, though, I don't believe that, or to me, outside looking in, that wasn't a bait dog fight. He had more fights than Morrell did. He was knocking down all kinds of people. I thought that was a fairly even, or I should say a fairly well match fight on paper. Now, when the fight happened, could his corner and should his corner have stopped it earlier? Yes. They were trying to give that man a chance, but he had no chance. I mean, it was bad. You were just waiting for him to hit the canvas and the fight to be stopped. So in a case like that, I blame the corner. But go ahead.
Yeah, it was rough seeing Morrell literally help carry him back to his corner. But it was also, like you said, it was shocking because there were individuals who actually did give him a chance to win that bout. So, I understand what you're saying with as far as not including that. But then, lately you're seeing a lot of these like YouTube and IG clips where these people are coming out of the corners, and within 5 seconds they're just getting lambasted and laid out, and it's just kind of like it's hard to make fun. Like growing up around fighters is understandable. It's hard to make fun of a fighter because you're getting into the ring. No matter what, like you're standing tall with the best of them. But in some of these mismatched bouts, it kind of brings more to the table of what Ryan Garcia and Stephen A. Smith actually spoke about a couple weeks ago. There's so many fights that we want to see, and these fights are not being made mainly because of what I believe are the promoters and because of greed. Everybody wants to get the right footing in the right place instead of giving the people the best fight and being able to put the fighters where they rightfully belong. And then they're getting into the ring with 30-0 records and they're getting knocked out, and then we're wondering exactly what happened to this greatness. So
I mean, again, the promoters and the fighters definitely have a role to play, but ultimately the ones who have the oversight that are supposed to make sure that the tomfoolery doesn't happen are the commissions and the sanctioning bodies. Just speaking about the WBC again real quick, because I was able to get the information. David Benavidez, Caleb Plant, that fight was already in the works, so them mandating it was like, okay, that was going to happen. Shakur Stevenson and Isaac Cruz. I mean, Shakur is coming up in weight, but I mean, I don't see why that. Well, I won't say it's a bad fight to have made because Cruz is a pit bull, pardon the pun. So seeing how he does against him, I think that might be okay. Teofimo and Sandor Martin. Sebastian Fundora is taking on Tony Harrison. That's going to be a good fight. That's going to be a really good fight. And then Cool Boy Steph and Figueroa, who they went at it. And so seeing that again, I wouldn't be mad at. But Figueroa, I'm not Figueroa, not Cool Boy Steph, but Boots Ennis. Why not mandate that?
Let's make that happen.
So it's so many fights that should be made that don't get made. And again, I blame, everyone has blame to shoulder, but the ones who are supposed to make sure it's working right, again, it's that greed. I'm gonna sanction it. I'm getting my money from sanctioning. Okay, yeah, it shouldn't happen, but I'm getting paid, so okay.
Call me biased, but I think they dodged my man Boots. But
they dino ducking him.
That needs to happen because that man is amazing in the ring. It's been another great section of KOs and low blows. Voice, you actually gave me some good information. I ain't got no beef with you this time, man. You did a great job on this.
I do a great job all the time. You just be in your fields.
Whatever. When we come back, we're going to take a quick break and give you a quick message from the Ozell brand and the Amazing Shoe brand. When we come back, we got some great things to cover. UFC 281, Santa Love versus Steve Sparks. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
It's not just about the love of the game. It's about dedication and commitment through the process and the patience to endure. There's joy in reaching your goals and peace in knowing you've done all you're supposed to do. Ozell brand. It's not just a brand. It's a lifestyle.
And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's time, boys. It's time for us to get into the meat and potatoes of all this as we discuss and get everyone prepared for a great weekend of combat sports. Now, starting with this Saturday, live from the Palms Casino Resort in Las Vegas, unbeaten middleweight title holder Janibeck is actually scheduled to defend his belt against Denzel Bentley in a WBO middleweight title bout. Now, Janibek, who was upgraded from interim champ to full champ in August, faces a very hungry Denzel Bentley, who after his first loss to Felix Cash in April of last year, has actually since won 3 fights in a row, including a fourth-round knockout of Marcus Morrison, which actually got him this title fight. Now, with the recent news that the winner of this bout will face the mandatory challenger, the undefeated Jamie Mungawa.
Jaime Munguia?
Mungawa. Okay. I don't know why I said Mungawa. And I knew it. This is something that actually Janibeck has actually not only won it, but he says he's been waiting for it. So with this match, with this bout actually coming up, who would you actually rather see face the mandatory challenger? Would you rather it be Bentley, or would you rather see Janibeck actually get into the ring? Because he seems like he's completely focused on that and kind of looking ahead of this bout.
I can understand why he may be approaching it the way that he is. I mean, he's undefeated. Not only is Janibek undefeated, he's knocked out 3/4 of the people that he's fought. Should he be sleeping on Bentley? No, he shouldn't, because you sleep on somebody, you get slept. Bentley has knocked out 14 of the 17 people that he's beat. When he's lost, like you said, that loss to Felix Cash, there was a knockout. And in Janibek's last fight, when he took on the undefeated Danny Dignam, also from the UK, he beat the sleeves off of the man. You know, so here you can have another UK fighter that's coming into it, you know, with a decent record and promise. You know, but Janibek, he feels as if he's on another level, and based on the way that he's run through everybody, I can understand that. Again, you don't sleep on anybody, you don't discredit anybody, but again, he feels as if he's operating on another level, which is why he's looking ahead. I would love to see Jaime Munguia and Janibek. I think that will be a phenomenal fight. Like, can't wait to see it. Again, we got the whole deal with the promoters and stuff and the platforms, because Munguia is Golden Boy, which is DAZN. Janibek is Top Rank, which is ESPN. Can they find a way to make it work? That's the question.
Okay. I mean, it'd definitely be great to see, Denzel Bentley, when he's actually speaking to the media, he sounds like he is hungry. He took that loss to Felix Cash completely personal, and his bout with Marcus Morrison was actually pretty intense for him. I mean, he literally said after that bout that he took that personally in preparation for this next bout. So that's definitely going to be exciting to see.
And just really quickly, after that loss to Cash, like you said, he won all 3 in a row. He knocked out all 3 fighters as well. So again, no, you sleep on them, you might get slept.
Most definitely. Need to put that on a t-shirt, boys. Now, moving on from one great fighter to another, a hometown kid is actually making his main event debut at home when undefeated Montana Love will be facing Stevie Sparks this weekend. And this is going to be taking place at the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse in a 12-round bout for the vacant WBA Intercontinental Super Lightweight title. Excuse me, that was a lot.
Yeah,
Love stated that he's actually looking to win in spectacular fashion, and he'll actually be facing a confident Stevie Sparks, who recently declared, "I'm not only happy to be getting into the ring and in the enemy territory, but I'll be bringing that belt back home on world ranking back to Australia." Voice, 2 great fighters, both of them extremely confident here. What are we looking for in this fight, and what do we think about Montana Love? Because many people are literally saying he might be the next big thing.
Yeah, Montana Love definitely is on the come up, and especially at 140, which is where they'll be fighting. And you got so many different people. Prograis is out there trying to fight Zepeda. We just talked about Teo fighting San Martin. You got Josh Taylor, who's out there. I forget who he's supposed to be facing soon, but you have all these people that are looking to fight each other, and it's going to be nice. It's going to be really nice. And Montana Love wants to insert his name into that picture. Now, he's done very well. His last fight, he showed a lot of grit and determination, because after knocking down his opponent, he had to get up off the canvas and to then defeat him by unanimous decision. So he showed a level of grit and determination that you hadn't seen before. Montana Love is definitely a slick fighter. You would not really think of him as a knockout fighter per se. He's stopped half of the people that he's fought, which, it's okay that you wouldn't call him a knockout fighter. But the fact that he was able to put Valenzuela down in the first round shows that he's got some pop when he needs to have some pop. But him also getting knocked down shows that there's some growth that needs to take place too. He, if I remember correctly, he got caught because he was trying to push the pace and do too much. He was in the very next round. So, probably thought, I got him hurt. Let me go ahead and get him out of here. And wound up getting knocked down himself. But it was good. Steadied himself, came back. Steve is so game. And Steve has power as well. And like I said, he's super game. He fought Tim Tszyu on like a week's notice. It's like, hey, let's do it. And did it, I want to say, at 154 pounds, which this fight is at 140. So for you to take on, the man in Australia, and Spark is from Australia as well. For you to take on the man in a week's time, up 2 weight classes from where you normally fight, you got some intestinal fortitude. Just I'm sorry, it was at welterweight, but even at a weight class up, you got some intestinal fortitude. And what Jack Brubaker's corner said in leading up to that fight was he had a chance. Now, he got knocked out in round 3, but he felt like he had a chance because he was hungry and because the boy can crack. Out of his 15 wins, 14 of them have been by way of knockout. His only other loss was a split decision over, or I should say a majority decision over a 4-round fight, fighting in China and fighting a person from where? China. So he's got some names on his record. James McDonald, and people of the like. So he can fight. And he's been in there with some of the best. Can he stop this hype train at home in right there in Montana's backyard? That's the question he's going to have to answer on Saturday night.
Well, it's going to be a lot going on, especially for Montana Love. It's going to be an emotional day. Not only is he going to be in the main event, but his brother, Olympian Raynell Williams, is actually going to be fighting on the undercard, which I believe is the first time in about 5 years he's going to be stepping into the ring. So it's going to be a family affair. So, he said he wants to do this in spectacular fashion. So we'll see what Stevie Sparks brings to the ring in that fight.
Yeah, just also with that being said, fighting at home can be great, but it can also be very difficult because of the demands of everyone on you for that fight. And now you add to it your brother's fighting for the first time and all the nerves that go along with that. Spark is coming in with nothing to lose. This is the first time he's fought outside of Australia, though, so that adds another wrinkle to things.
Okay, well, definitely looking forward to that and seeing actually what happened. Montana Love is an incredible fighter, but I haven't really known much about Stevie Sparks, and what I read up on him, he seems incredible. So it's going to be great for both fighters. Now, Voyce, where we need to be. UFC 281. It's time. Now, in this week's Voices marquee matchup, it might be a potential fight of the night candidate here in a lightweight bout. Now, Voice, I want you to tell us about this bout, which actually may have potential future title shot implications for either fighter.
Well, as you know, part of the criteria of the Voices marquee matchup is excitement, which you have it between these two fighters. This is a bona fide, certified grudge match. In Abu Dhabi, they were both fighting other people, and they were just talking to each other. They knew that there was a possibility they were going to be meeting up. They said some things to each other. Neither of them liked the things that were said, and that's where all the beef started. Poirier he's about it. He is a man of his word, and he's like, let's not talk about it, let's be about it. So what happened when they were in the same arena? He came up and was like, look, I said I don't like you, I'm gonna beat you, so forth and so on. I'm here to show you, forget the online stuff. This is not Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. I'm gonna talk to you. See, when they talked, it was like, yeah, well, I'm gonna do this. So no, we can go now. I want that smoke. So, and Chandler had to be pulled back. It was funny looking too, because whoever was pulling him back was much bigger. Chandler is not the biggest guy in the world. Thick, yes. Stature, not so much.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you have this grudge match that's going. So you have the excitement factor. 2, you have possible title implications, because whoever wins, I want to say they're like at 3 and 5 right now in the UFC's rankings. So whoever wins should be right there in the mix to face the winner of Islam versus Volkanovski, if that fight were to happen. Don't get me started on who Islam is fighting or should fight. That's a story for another day. But they should be in the mix as far as that's concerned. And because of their cachet and their name value and their star power, they probably would be the ones to get it. 3, are you Nigerian? No, he's not Nigerian. Now, his sons may be of Nigerian descent. I don't know, because he adopted 2 African-American young men. But he's got ties to the loop. So, of course, that's going to make it a part of the Voices marquee matchup. And I'm talking about Chandler on all of this. So, yeah, it's got the making. It's got Fighting Night written all over it. And that's why it's a Voices marquee matchup.
Well,
okay, what to expect? I'm sorry, you asked that.
Yeah.
Fireworks, blows being thrown the whole time, it not making it to the judges, just violence upon violence. That's what you should expect.
Well, it's gonna be a great bout. I mean, they both really did kind of talk down on each other in the worst way when they had opportunity to speak. But Michael Chandler also stated that after the fight, he felt like it's going to be a great mutual respect between the both of them. I think they all actually almost have identical records, if I'm not mistaken. So whoever comes out of this is going to have a great opportunity ahead of them. And it's UFC 281. It's a stacked card. So the fact that they're considered to be a fight of the night candidate on a card that already has a style bender and Zhang Weili is incredible in itself. So that's going to be great. Now, as we talked about how stacked this card already is, in the co-main event, the current 2-time champion, Carla Esparza, is going to be facing Zhang Weili in a women's strawweight championship match. Now, what's crazy here for me is, even though I shouldn't be surprised, Carla is actually going into this bout as a major underdog. Zhang Weili is considered by many to be the strongest fighter in the division, despite her previous 2 losses to, I want to say it's Rose.
Yeah, Thug Rose.
Rose
Thug Rose. I'm sorry. All right, go ahead. Try
Rose
again.
Namajunas.
Yeah, just Namajunas.
I ain't just want to call it Thug Rose, but you're right. Now, what's crazy here is that Zhang Weili has taken 2 losses to Thug Rose. Meanwhile, Carla has recently defeated her. for a championship, and that's rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Now, Esperanza says that she knows that she is coming into this as a complete underdog and it's not going unnoticed. She's actually shrugged off Weili's comments that there's nothing special about the champion and nothing to fear. Didn't even believe that this fight could create a lot of controversy if Zhang Weili is successful and becomes champion again, because it's almost like I beat you, you beat me, she beats her. Voice. With all this going on, and I saw your face when I spoke about Carla's last win. What are your thoughts on this? And what are your thoughts on the potential chaos that this may cause if Weili comes out of this the winner?
As far as potential chaos is concerned, she's supposed to win. Like, she's supposed to win the fight. If she doesn't win, then there will be chaos. But Zhang Weili, this was like a setup for her to get the belt back. You said they say that she's the strongest fighter. I mean, when you are fighting at 115 pounds and you're picking up the heavyweight champion who's just that much off of 300 pounds, just on a humbug, yeah, you're pretty strong. You're pretty strong. Again, this is a setup. Poor Carla. She is the inaugural strawweight champion. She had the belt first, beat Thug Rose to get the belt. Came in, faced Joanna Champion, who beat the snot out of her, and she couldn't sniff another championship opportunity until this fight with Rose. Now, you said that there was, I want to say you said that there was some controversy or something with that fight.
Yeah, a lot of people feel like that maybe she shouldn't have been in the fight in the first place.
I can understand people feeling that, or I should say, I can understand why some people may say that, but really, she'd earned that fight. The only controversy is what were they doing? Because literally, it was the worst championship fight in the history of the UFC. I mean, they were in there just kind of looking at each other for all 5 rounds. You know, some people may say, oh, well, you know, Tyron had some pretty bad fights. Yeah, he did, but he did more than just stood there and fainted the whole time. You might say he did that in the second Wonder Boy fight, but there was a lot of stuff that was going on in that one. This one, yeah, I don't know what they were doing, but yeah, there was no way that everybody lost in that fight. Everybody lost.
Really?
Yeah. And unfortunately, let me not say that. The area of strength that Carla has is her wrestling. And since losing to Rose, and even before losing to Rose the second time, Zhang went and worked on her wrestling with Henry Cejudo, and she has looked very, very good in doing so. You saw some of that versus Joanna Jędrzejczyk, but her wrestling has really improved. Now all she really needs to do is stay upright, and that is a part of the wrestling that's the easiest. So she's the favorite because everything says she should win this fight.
Right. She's an overwhelming favorite, though. I don't understand how, but I mean, I get it. And the one thing is, they actually got a chance to speak with Rose, and she had something. She's actually stated, I think a lot of people are definitely sleeping on Carla. I think people are just going to assume that Weili's going to run her over, and rightfully so. Weili is obviously a machine and a beast. However, while I'm definitely leaning more towards Weili at this point, it's really hard for me to necessarily count out Carla. I hope that the fight isn't anything like my fight with Carla. There's either a chance that it will be kind of similar to that, like kind of boring, where they're both just point fighting, or one person is going to go to the other person, and it's going to be a knockout in devastating fashion. So, it was really weird in preparing for the show and kind of looking up on this and just seeing not many people are giving her a fight. Even your man Usman made a statement that he just felt like it wasn't fair and this fight shouldn't be happening.
I mean, and I understand why they feel like that. And with what Thugs Rose said, you should like, hey, people are sleeping. They still haven't woke up from the last fight because it was that boring. That's why they're sleeping.
Well, definitely see. I mean, it earned the opportunity to be the co-main event at UFC 281. So
yeah, that's because it's a title on the line, and the great possibility of the recoronation of Magnum Jean Weili.
Huh? Well, there you have it. Now, finally, in what will be the night's headlining event, reigning champion, the Stylebender, is actually coming in riding a 5-bout title defense streak, but he's going to be facing the number 4 ranked UFC contender and the man who holds 2 kickboxing wins over him. Now, this bout is actually personal for him, and the middleweight champion has actually described his opponent as one-dimensional. Now, and what is literally coming off as a deep disdain between the two, Alex Pereira has actually stated and posted videos to his social media account mocking Adesanya's training techniques and stating that when he wins, he'll be happy to give him a rematch, but he doesn't think he's going to want it. Voice, it's been years, and one of the things that they actually talked about on First Take is that when Alex won the first of 2 fights, there were super padded gloves. There were, I believe, 12-ounce gloves in comparison to the 4-ounce gloves that they're going to be fighting with at UFC 281. What are your thoughts on this bout with how personal it is, and is Adesanya possibly working himself up to be defeated again by maybe taking a little too personal?
I don't know that he's necessarily working himself up too much. He's been in there with his idol, Anderson Silva. You know, he's been in there with people like the reigning champion, or I should say at that time, the reigning champion, Robert Whittaker, and has beaten him, you know, more than once. He's really fought like everybody that he could fight. And he's said it, I've lapped the division and I'm lapping it again. The only reason that Alex has this shot is because he's a new name and because of his link to me. He has said multiple times, like as soon as he got in there, it's like, yeah, it's like we'll fight again, but it won't be in those padded gloves. This is going to be MMA. This is not kickboxing. And when I get you on skates, I'm not going to let you up this time. It's funny. He said something about Elsa and Frozen, and Alex was like, what? You know, it just looked like he didn't know anything. Then he took a picture with somebody in an Elsa costume the other day. So yeah, he's doing a lot online and talking, you know, really big. He trains with former champion Glover Teixeira, you know, so he's getting that work in. Has it been long enough? And like Izzy said, you're one-dimensional, and he is. Izzy was also somewhat one-dimensional, and his coach was on Ariel Helwani's show talking about how they approach fighting for everybody in the camp. It's like, I treat it like you all suck. You all are all bags of garbage, and we talk about where you need help. If I say something good, that means you really have done something good, because all we focus on are your weaknesses and your strengths. He also spoke about, and Eugene Berriman is top tier when it comes to coaches. He also spoke about the one-dimensional aspect of Alex Pereira, and many people are prognosticating and that they're saying they believe that this will be much like the Ngannou versus Gane fight. Ngannou being, again, the same person that 115-pound former champion Jean Weili just picked up on a humbug. Crazy. Anyway, said that they think it's going to be much like that because they believe that he's going to implement some of those wrestling things and ground attack, because it is MMA and it's not just kickboxing, putting him in an area where he's uncomfortable and taking advantage of that. Can Pereira do it? Yeah, I mean, he's been knocking everybody out, and he's knocked Izzy out before. That does, factor in. However, that was in a different discipline. That was in kickboxing. And I'm reminded of another championship bout where someone fought someone, and that was Joanna Jędrzejczyk and Valentina Shevchenko. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that JJ beat her when they fought in kickboxing. And I think they may have fought like this case where they may have fought multiple times and she beat her. But when it came to MMA, it was a different story. And that very well may be the case with Pereira. Even in MMA, even by MMA standards, he hasn't had very many fights. I mean, this is like his 7th or 8th professional fight. 6-1. Yeah. So, yeah, he doesn't have nearly the experience of Adesanya, who was undefeated until he punched above his weight class, trying to fight and win the light heavyweight belt. Now Pereira is big. Can he do what Jan Blachowicz did in pressing the action and wearing on him? Well, and then Jan also was able to take him down and keep him there. And Izzy was just too little; he couldn't get up. That's not really his game, even though he does train with Glover Teixeira, who that is his game.
Yeah.
Has he had enough time to even develop that game? We all believe that his best road to victory is to knock him out. Will he be able to do that? Izzy is a defensive genius. Those are the questions that will have to be answered on Saturday night.
I feel like it's important to note that with everyone speaking about the 2 kickboxing bouts, the first one was actually kind of controversial as far as the ending, and then the second one, Izzy was winning until he got slumped, which we talk about it all the time. It only takes one punch or one kick. So I think everyone looks at these 2 losses and they're like, oh, this and that and the other. But if you go back and you look at them, Izzy was actually dominating the second fight up until that quick hitter that laid him out. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see. I definitely want to see exactly how this is going to play out. And then I'm interested to see exactly, depending on who wins, where do both of them go? Because, let's say Izzy does want an immediate rematch. Does Alex have does Alex have his ticket and he does it again? And then what happens? So that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. UFC 281 is going to be an amazing stacked card. I'm definitely excited. I'm going to have to get your thoughts on the fights after, probably in our KOs and low roll section of next week, but I'm excited to hear it. Now, ending our show, I'm ending it with the champ, with your second favorite fighter outside of Jake Paul. Money May is back in the boxing ring with another exhibition fight. This time against YouTuber Deji, who this will actually be taking place live November 13th at the Coca-Cola Arena in Dubai. Now, when they spoke to Deji, he actually stated that while he has been in the ring with everyone from Jake Paul to Fossatube, who I have no clue who that is, he stated that his only goal is simply to land a punch. Mayweather, meanwhile, is going to garner at least $25 million from what will be his 4th exhibition since retiring at 50-0. Voice, I know you love these exhibitions. Give me your thoughts on this. And does Floyd just need to come back and fight someone real, or are these exhibitions going to be what we're going to see from now on?
Oh, well, he said this is it. He already knows that though he is killing these MMA and kickboxers and YouTubers, that his skills have diminished. And like he even said that he would not fight any boxers in he did fight one boxer, but any high-level champion boxers in an exhibition. when he fought on the last one, which was a rising card, and that was only a couple months ago. Like this would be like the third fight this year that he's had, and legalized bank robbery season is definitely in effect for him. He said though, because Pacquiao was there. Pacquiao's worked with Rising before, and they were like, "Oh, what about this? We love to see that." He's like, "No, so I'm not fighting any professional champions. I'm only fighting these people that I know I can beat for all intents and purposes. I'm gonna keep robbing these banks as long as they, as long as they will allow me to do it legally. I'm gonna keep doing it."
Well, it's not gonna end, because even with this fight upcoming, Floyd is already looking to a February 2023 exhibition bout in the UK. Now, what's interesting is during his sparring in Dubai, he actually called out and challenged Anthony Taylor, who's actually boxing on the undercard, who was heckling Floyd during his sparring. Mm-hmm. Anthony Taylor eventually backed out and decided against it, which is smart, because you got to get your money in the actual ring. But another fighter who actually recently mentioned Floyd that he would like to get back in the ring is Ricky Hatton. I see the look on your face when I said that. Now, ahead of his return against Marco Pereira, Ricky Hatton actually said that he would love to get back in the ring with Floyd. So, do you think that's maybe a possibility?
That now, Floyd said he would not fight any champion level fighters. I think he make an exception possibly for Ricky Hatton, just because of how long he's been out of the game, and not just how long he's been out of the game. Well, let me rephrase that. How long he's been out of fighting shape.
Right.
That may cause him to think differently, but we got to remember, Hatton cracks. And yeah, that may not be especially with the weight difference, because there's no way that Ricky's going to get in enough shape to be able to fight around whatever weight that Floyd is fighting at. So yeah, outside of draining him or trying to drain him, I don't see that happen.
Well, there you have it.
I wouldn't mind seeing it, but yeah, Floyd is a very shrewd businessman when it comes to scheduling his fights, and he's just doing this for fun. He ain't trying to work, and anything that looks like work, he's not doing.
$25 million just to spar is incredible.
Great work if you can get it, and this is the third time he's been able to get it this year, third or fourth time this year.
Definitely.
Was Logan the Logan Paul fight was this year?
No, I think that was late last year.
Okay.
Well, this is his fourth exhibition this year, so I don't
so it may have been. Logan Paul may have been like January or so, and then he fought in Japan like 2 months ago. He fought on top of the thing in Abu Dhabi this summer, and now here we go with Deji. And he's fighting on DAZN, a platform he said he doesn't even have. Like apps. We don't do apps. We don't fight on apps. We fight on this and on that. Well, you fighting on the app this week.
Only apps I do are at Chili's or at Applebee's, but I don't eat at Applebee's no more, so I don't.
But you're in the dark, so if you in the light and had an Apple, you probably would use more apps.
You know what? I'm gonna ignore that, old man. Okay, I got the best phone on the market right now. Y'all better stop playing with Android and stop acting. You know what I'm saying? Android get this work done. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen,
get that blow up work.
One day, boys, you're gonna have to see me. It's gonna have to happen.
Hey, look.
And when it's over,
not for COVID,
card. And when it's over, we're gonna come on the main card and we're gonna talk about it, and you're gonna tell the people the truth. That Will just got these hands, okay? This is who I am. But it's fine. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for another episode of The Voice is Slander. and the shiny head man. We've got you prepared for this weekend's fights, so make sure that you get prepared for them. Also, make sure that you're following The Voice on Twitter for his hot takes, because a lot of times when these fights are going on, you get real-time hot takes from The Voice on Twitter, so you can follow him at The Voice. Also, MTMV, we out here. We writing articles, you know what I'm saying? Raising our profile. You can get HBCU. You can get HBCU, you can get the NFL, you can get the NBA, you can get hot takes, you can get everything. I almost made it, y'all. I almost made the whole episode, but I'm tired. It's all good. Make sure you share, like, and subscribe. Thank you for joining us for another great episode of The Main Card. I know we're here Wednesday night, 9:30, but make sure you continue to watch us Tuesday, 7:15 Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be here on time. We got you. You know what I'm saying? This is what we're here for. Boys, take us out with your last words, sir.
Hey, there are a lot of other wonderful fights. There's just too many fights to talk about. Sinisa Estrada makes her top-ranked debut as a co-main of the Janibeck card. She's putting her title up. Salute to Sonny Edwards. He's putting his title up and calling out everybody else at 112. And then Natasha Jonas and Marie-Eve Declaire have a unification bout as well at 154. So many fights, just not enough time. But until next time, fight fans, continue to fight the good fight.